We are calling to order this meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Pasadena Area Community College District. Do we have any, pardon me, let's start with a roll call, please.
Good idea.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Chanlao?
Here.
Dr. Fellow?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Hua?
Here.
Mr. Sarkeesian?
Okay, thank you. We are going to proceed to a closed session. Pardon me, before we do that, do we have any public comment on closed session agenda items?
No, we don't.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. So we're going to convene to a closed session, and in that closed session, we are going to discuss Government Code Section 54957, Evaluation of Employee, Superintendent President. Government Code Section 54957, Employee Discipline, Dismissal, Release, one employee. And lastly, conference with legal counsel, Government Code Section 54956.9, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, D2 and E1, significant exposure to litigation, one potential case. We'll now retire to closed session.
Remember, it's in the old.
We are going to reconvene this meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Pasadena Area Community College District. We just held a closed session meeting, and no action was taken. Moving on, next, let's go to a roll call.
Mr. Osterling,
Here.
Mr. Hilsman,
Here.
Ms. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Chenlau,
Here.
Dr. Fellow,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Here.
Ms. Wah, Mr. Sarkisian.
Here.
Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I see a guest in the room here who's going to be introduced later, but I'm going to jump the gun, and we're going to get a presentation later today from KPCC, and including the representatives from KPCC is our recently retired president, Bill Davis. Bill, would you please step up to the lectern, pull that microphone up tall, and lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, agenda item number 3 is approval, reordering of agenda items. Do we have any agenda items today that need to be reordered?
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna reorder one agenda item, and that is agenda item I-1, which is annual report from KPCC, and we are going to move that up to after item number 5, after item C5. Any other reordering of agenda? Okay, here we go. Next, we have several introductions and recognitions. Dr. Androgianis.
Okay, so I'm going to start by introducing our Executive Director of Economic and Workforce Development, Salvatrice Cuomo, to come up and introduce a couple new managers in her area.
Aloha, everyone.
Hello.
It brings me much joy to share with you 2 of our newest members of the Department of Economic and Workforce Development, and it is Charisse Davudi. Charisse is our interim Freeman Center Director here at the EWD team, and then we have Jacqueline Javier. Jacqueline Javier is our work-based learning project manager. Charisse will see all operations and program of the Freeman Center, and Jacqueline will be overseeing the internship and work-based learning program. So please welcome them.
Thank you. Welcome.
So our next is to recognize our last year's board president. So with that, I'd love to have Dr. Fellow come and follow us over to...
And in Hawaii attire.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, as it should be.
It was a long presidency.
It was long, arduous, plus, you know, you hired a CEO, so life is good, right? Okay, so this is a certificate of commendation, and it is in honor of your leadership of the Board of Trustees of the Pasadena Area Community College District, and in recognition of your service from December 2017 to July 2019, and we honor you,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Fellow, as, and I love this, a tireless advocate for the well-being of our district students, faculty, staff, and community.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
so
it.
welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, I think we need a picture here.
Let's do it. Tony, get in the middle.
Yeah, get me. You wanna come here?
Tony, thank you for all your service. You presided over a very important term, including the hiring of our new superintendent, so thank you for...
Good.
So thank you for your service, including, and not just being president, but even before that. Thank you again. Next, we have approval of minutes, and these are the minutes from our last meeting, which was our regular business meeting and annual organization meeting number 1.
No.
Oh.
We have public comment.
Public comment.
I'm sorry, okay. My mistake. We are on item number 5, public comment on non-agenda items.
We have
Trust-
several.
Okay, take it
So,
away.
Let me say that to our speakers, I think we have 7, and I would like to let you know that we have 3 minutes per speaker. I will signal when you start, and when the light blinks at red, then it means you need to wrap it up. I will call 2 at a time, 2 names. The first one come and follow, the second one will follow, just in the interest of time. So we will begin with Alex Shaganaka, to be followed by Adela Ortiz. Come on, Alex, please. Okay. Go, Alex.
Oh, I didn't see the green light.
Oh, you ready? Okay, go.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm here to share with some of my comments and concerns that I had with the current PCC U-Pass program. So PCC U-Pass program basically is a public transportation assistance program for PCC students. And for the school year of 2018 to 2019, the PCC U-Pass program covered 3 semesters. It covers the fall semester, the winter semester, and the spring semester. And then this is about 9.5 months period long, and then there's no gap in between if the students pay the fare, pay the pass on time. So basically for the 9.5 months, public transportation basically cost about $240. The price is very reasonable. I won't be studying right here without the PCC U-Pass program. But unfortunately, during the summer of 2019, there's no PCC U-Pass program available for purchase for students. So I go to school. For the summer courses for the summer semester, and I also have my daily commute. So I did the math. Basically, for the 2-month long period during the summer semester, it cost me about $250 without the U-Pass. So my 2 months of transportation for summer equals to the 10 months of transportation cost with the PCC U-Pass program. And I wish that in the future that 2020, for the summer 2020, and then there's the PCC can offer a U-Pass for students to purchase, so that the students like me do not have to struggle in taking buses and going to school. And I'm TA 487, graduating from OCI, finished reporting to BOC, getting ready for another OCB, pulling back to the yard, Division 9, 10100, 104. Thank you, everyone. I wish everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ortiz.
Good evening. When I came back to PCC in the summer of 2016, I was happy to be a Lancer again since I graduated from Bishop Amat and we were Lancers also. I was trying to find a better way to support myself and still work with children. When I was in the SLIPA program, I knew it was the best option for me as I could only afford to get an associate's degree to support myself, and the SLIPA degree certainly would make me be able to support myself because of the high demand for this occupation and the high pay compared to other associate's degrees. When PCC decided to change the program and kick me out, I was very surprised. I wasn't given proper notice, and the way the changes were implemented were not correct. Also, the state and ASHA never told the school to change the program. The school is not really honoring my catalog rights because they still want me to fill out an application and go into the lottery system. The lottery system would put me in a pool of about 100 students probably, because I can't get the numbers from you guys, but there are only 28 slots. And I'm a very good student, so it's unfortunate that this would have to happen. When I enrolled, there was no requirement for an application, and there was no requirement for me to be in a lottery. This whole process of advocating for myself has been very stressful to me. It has made me very disappointed in this school. I feel PCC has let me down by not fully honoring my catalog rights. I'm disappointed that PCC has had their lawyers send me an email full of inaccuracies about the nature of my complaint and statements or claims I may have made. I do not have legal representation, nor have I ever claimed to have had legal representation. Please do the right thing to restore my faith in education and in this school, and fully honor my catalog rights. Remember, there was no requirement for an application or lottery participation when I initially enrolled at this college. Again, please do the honorable thing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker would be Feng Schrader, I think it is, to be followed by David Chang.
Hello. My name is Maple Schrader. I'm former PCC student of Professor Xiang's Chinese music ensemble class. I am here strongly urge you to reinstate this class to both fall and spring semester curriculum. There are many reasons I have for this request, but I will keep it simple. This class is special because it enables our community become students from all ethnic background, all age, all skill levels. It allows students who want to learn musical instruments that are not found in traditional American music class. Professor Xiang takes students from all skill levels and able to personally work with each individual and bring them together as a whole. Professor Xiang's Chinese music class feels special void, especially needed for this community. Without her class, the teaching of this beautiful music would be great loss for all of us. Please find a way, continue both fall and spring semester class. And for us all, we can enjoy. And thank you for all your time.
Thank you. Go ahead, David.
Thank you, members of the board, for hearing me. I come here today not only as a PCC student, but also as a board member of the National Association of Asian American Professionals, the same organization that recognized Dr. Verdian last year for his contributions to the PCC community and the Asian American community as well. I've come today to formally request the board to reconsider the cancellation of the Chinese ensembles class, a course that stood as a rare gem among the plethora of courses from the community colleges servicing the greater Los Angeles area. Members of this board represent several affluent cities with an equally affluent and influential Asian American community. It is rather disconcerting that at a time when our country is faced with a crisis in cultural and racial acceptance, a course such as this be canceled several weeks before the term even starts. We are asking the board to simply give the course a fair opportunity, like any other PCC course, to exist, and to demonstrate PCC's commitment to diversity and inclusion of all cultures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Our next speaker is Amy Chang Levac, followed by Judy Saw.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Chang Levac. I am a registered student this fall semester for Chinese Music Ensemble. I'm here tonight to thank the board and the dean and my Chinese music teacher who has made this Chinese music ensemble class available for this past 20-some years. This class really has touched and enriched everyone, a lot of people's life, because this class is incorporating the Eastern music and Western music. I'm very, very sad to learn that this Chinese music ensemble class has been canceled for this fall semester. The reason is the enrollment is under the minimum requirement. I feel so devastating for the music major students because this is the only class in California that provides the Eastern music blending with Western music, and is the very unique class that allowed the music major students to learn, to study, to practice, to perform the Chinese music ensemble. So, and also this is a stepstone for the music major students to go on to their music career going into music college. So I'm here tonight asking the board and the dean kindly reconsider to reopen this Chinese music ensemble class this fall semester. And second of all, I would ask you to consider to extend the deadline for the registration, because historically, this class has a lot of the students join the class at a later date. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks. My name is Judy Cao. First, I want to give us the opportunity to speak. I already take 2 classes from Music 38C, Chinese Music Ensemble. The reason I take it because I take applied music, I need to take 1 ensemble class. I just go to the point. I have 3 points I want to mention. On August 2nd, my instructor sent me a text saying, sad news, the school take off our class from the schedule. As you know, the school doesn't start August 26th. Our class is August 29th. We still have 27 days for student register. We already have 6 new students enrolled the class, which they enrolled the class on July. But PCC take off the class on August 2nd. So we don't know how many students will enroll. Will you know? Nobody knows. So it looks like unreasonable and unfair for us because we still have 27 days for students to enroll. I have the letter from instructor Cynthia. He mentioned we have 11 new students in the processing, and we have 6 students for the partition, plus more students. So we will have around 23 students in our class, and the PCC requires probably only 10. So we have a double student than the PCC requires. So I don't know why we take off the class. If after school start a couple weeks, you cancel the class, say, oh, you only have 5 students, we understand. But I graduated from KSL and major in finance. My previous job is Bank of America manager. And I went to Citrus College. I got AA degree, AS degree, and in music. I have 3 degrees. I went to Glendale Community College last year. Now I'm on PCC. I never see the school cancel the class 1 month prior to class start. So I really appreciate it. If you can reconsider to reinstate our class immediately, and the new student can register. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That will be all.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We are now going to take agenda item I-1 out of order and move that up to this slot. And this is the annual report from KPCC. I know we have several representatives. If you could come to the lectern and introduce yourselves, and we look forward to your presentation.
Hi, Bill Davis, President Emeritus. I'm here with our new CEO, Herb Scannell, and we'll introduce him in just a bit, and also our Chief Operating and Financial Officer, Elsa Luna. The reason why I am here today is because this report actually focuses on fiscal year 2018, which ended July of 2018. And then, as we are wont to do, we combine that with other operating reporting from the calendar year 2018. And I was CEO at that point. So the first half of the report and all of the written materials that we submitted to you last December, I'm going to just say they will speak for themselves. Elsa will focus a little bit on the financials. But I think that they're relatively self-explanatory. We had simultaneous leadership transitions going on, so that's why this report is a little delayed. But we wanted to take the opportunity to look back. We are entering the 20th year of this partnership between Southern California Public Radio and Pasadena City College. And back when we started this, KPCC, I think, was the 5th most listened to public radio station in Los Angeles, and was, I think our audience was about 200,000 or so, and was in danger of losing its funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. We're now the most listened to public radio station in Los Angeles and one of the 3 most listened to public radio stations in the country. And the diversity of the audience, the size of the newsroom, et cetera, has evolved into something that's really become a model for public media nationally. And so that's been an incredibly satisfying partnership to be a part of for me, and to work with people like Elsa and others has been a great joy. To work with you all has been a great joy. But I also bring news that the leadership that we have with Herb is nothing short of spectacular and visionary, and I'm sure you all will look forward to working with him in the years to come. I don't know how to, do I just, okay, so yeah, there we go. This is just the broadcast audience, I should note. And so you look at it, we started off with about 220,000 back in the year 2000. And then in the fiscal year 18, we had more than 800,000. I think the digital audience now, I'm going to say it's like about somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million between LAist, which we acquired earlier this calendar year, as well as kpcc.org and our other digital properties. So we have expanded from a broadcast platform into a multimedia platform, and continue to have a really powerful impact, not only on the broadcast side of things, but also with such podcasts is like the big one, which I think had, several million downloads. So those kinds of projects are going to continue. I'll turn this over now to Elsa specifically on the investments that we have made, or that I should say that we did make in fiscal 18.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Want to go through the fiscal year 18 audited financial statements. Fiscal year 18 was a unique year for us in the sense that we had an accounting change in our financials. We went from an accrual base to a cash base in fiscal year 18, and it was several years in the planning. And because of that, it created about a $4 million adjustment on our revenue, which is the reason why you see a $4.2 million deficit in the left-hand column of the financial statements. Recorded revenue of $26.6 million and expenses of a little over $30 million. The important part here to note is the KPCC investment. On the revenue side, we're looking at close to $3.6 million of revenue coming in, mostly from public sources. And expenses or investment, as we should say, is a little over $19.4 million. So this is, the KPCC investment is 19.4, giving us a deficit of 15.8, which is made up mostly from the other funding sources of operating funds that we allocate mostly through Southern California Public Radio. Happy to answer any questions.
Do you have an endowment?
I'm sorry?
I forgot to press my light.
Trustee Chen Lao.
Do you have an endowment? I assume you do.
We have a, I wouldn't use the word endowment. It's, we have a small savings account that has pretty much about 15 to 20 days of operating reserve. And so it doesn't qualify in the terminology of endowment. We do invest the funds at the California Community Foundation. The intent is to grow it and someday call it an endowment.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Hilsman.
Yes. Is our license with KPCC or with SCPR?
So the Pasadena Area Community College District holds the FCC license for PCC.
Right.
We have a contract with the Southern California Public Radio has a contract with the Pasadena Area Community College District to manage the station on your behalf.
And we are currently updating that contract. It was time for it to be renewed, so we are updating it, and Dr. Mike Bush and the folks over at KPCC are fine-tuning the document right now, so you should see that in the next month or two.
Okay, and so, but KPCC operates at a loss, actually. It's the
yes, it does.
Station. Okay,
Correct.
15 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, just very quickly, per the terms of the contract, what that does is it focuses on the revenue that we get in essence, well, actually, Elsa, you want to explain how we break out the revenue between SCPR and PCC?
Yes. So the revenue that's directly identified as funds, membership funds directly attributed through the KPCC frequency, which is the 89.3 channel, get allocated to the KPCC column, which is the 3.5 million. The other sources of funding, which Bill had mentioned, many of them are digital and various platforms that we perform. Those funding sources go under the Southern California Public Radio column. And so, and those are also grants and foundations and philanthropic support that's unrestricted. So that's how we balance it all out.
Okay. Good. So when for example, the feds or a foundation or something gives you money, it goes to the Southern California Public Radio.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Trustees, any other questions? Trustee Martin.
Comment. I appreciated, so we were talking a lot about your numbers. Great. They're all right here. Appreciate the explanation on the 4 million. Obviously, great appreciation to Bill for his tenure and all the tremendous work he's done I've been a trustee for a long time, and when, believe it or not, going way, way back, the very first time it came before the board to move the station from the C building to Mount Wilson, the board declined it because the move was based on making the station a powerful radio station and wasn't based on what it could do for students. And what I appreciate seeing in your report were in addition to the finances that speak for themselves, are how you're using PCC interns. And obviously, you're also giving us some financial support, and we appreciate that. But what is important to me in this relationship is the use of PCC students and that connection. So I'm kind of thanking Bill and queuing up Herb. When you come back and see us again in a year, the numbers are the numbers. I get it. But what's important to me, what's different, is that this license is held by a community college with the mission of serving students. And you're doing that in a marvelous way through these employment opportunities and these intern opportunities and the financial contributions you're making. And so when I see this report, that's the first thing I want to read. It's about, for me, who voted no 30 years ago and then voted yes when it came back the second time, because it was based now on what it would do for students. So I'm just kind of saying thank you for showing us those pictures and giving us those updates, and that's the kind of thing I'm looking for.
So a couple of things real quickly. Richard Garcia and Rosavella, now they are full-time employees. They are not permanent, but they are full-time FTE. And I think we would be remiss if we did not also recognize Doug Johnson, who did the report that's in your files, who also has an adjunct position with the communications department. Without Doug and that flow of interns, I don't think it would be nearly as successful. So I think we should take the time and I would just make a friendly amendment to your remarks to recognize Doug's work on that regard.
Okay, thank you.
Dee Brown.
I must say that a couple months ago, I did receive a call from a struggling student that was dying to get an internship over at KPCC. And his mother called me, he called me. So I said, okay. I called one of your staff, and I saw the mother just a few weeks ago, and I asked her, how is he doing? She said, he loves it. He goes to work in the summer every day. This is what he's been dying for. So thank you.
Awesome.
Trustee Chen Lao. One more, last one.
Thank you so much, Bill, for your leadership of KPCC, and I just wanted to recognize you here. At the same time, I would also like to remind ourselves that we have a KPCC student that went on to become a host at KPCC, which is John Horn of The Frame. He actually was a journalist student at PCC, and we would love for him to come back and maybe be a mentor to our students as well. So that will be a two-way street for us. So thank you.
Thank you. And nice to meet everybody. I'm the new guy. I've been here, I've gone on my 6th month in September. And I inherited an incredible legacy from Bill, who's been brilliant as the leader of KPCC, but also brilliant as a partner as I'm transitioning and learning more about everything Southern California, but also public radio. So he's been wonderful. This is a way that I've been thinking about the future for KPCC. I'll just hold this up for you quickly. This is a brochure that I put together in my first 90 days, and it's the makings of what will be, it's our vision for the future, but it's also our capital campaign. I'll just read you. It says here, democracy needs to be heard. Now more than ever, our voices matter. And the first statement says, no matter who we are, what our politics are, where we're we're from, or where we came from, Americans united by one love, democracy. And that is the statement of KPCC, our nonpartisan representation. And if you were to look at the images that are in here, you see that this is a love letter to LA with images all about LA, the people, and then you see some of the people that would populate this. And I know you can't see very well, but I'll just show you this last two pages, which is the kind of the end of it right here. And there you go. Yeah. And so, so we're all in on LA, and Pasadena is our home, and we're very happy to be, in the place that we are, thanks to the relationship we have with you. 4 pillars for the future. Convening the public square is a euphemism for what we want to do in journalism. We see journalism as being the modern public square, and we are going to double down on original investigative and data reporting. And we also are looking at how we can add more talent into the mix. We have 3 shows right now. Larry Mantle does a show, John Horn does a show, and A. Martinez does a show. So we're always looking at the next generation of talent. Second pillar is what we call LACA, or LA Calling the World, which are telling LA story. The world's always been fascinated by LA stories, so we want to tell LA stories to the world, and we'll do that through podcasts. So it's a new podcast initiative. We announced it, and we got some fanfare. It's called the Elias Studios, and we picked Elias because we had acquired the digital property as a digital publisher, and we put the name the Elias on it. So as we're telling stories to the world, and the Elias is, as the British would say, the name is on the tin, right? If you're telling LA stories to the world, the Elias Studios is very clearly a representation of that. KPCC journalism will be part of what we do in the podcast initiative. Third area is we're always looking to improve our signal strength. And we're always on the prowl for how can we boost our signal. We are doing more and more in-person events, so it's important to us if we want to be in communities, we've got to be on the ground in many places, and we will be looking at how we're going to market through social media and other forums going forward. The last area is enabling the future. We want to build a better data infrastructure, so we bring all the information that we get about our users and our potential users together so that we can be smarter about growing the audience. And then the question you asked about operating reserve or an endowment is on our list of things that we want to get done in the next capital campaign. And we did acquire a small building next door to KPCC that is going to be, it's going to house the podcast unit. Think of it more as like a bungalow, like a Ace Hotel, big open tables. And that'll be where the cool kids hang out. And I'll see if they'll let me in, once in a while. But anyway, that's our kind of view of the future. These are the pillars from which we're going to be looking both to build the organization and ultimately in our capital campaign to be raising more money.
Trustee Hilsman.
So I'm just so thrilled with our partnership with KPCC, and I'm a regular listener. I was in a meeting today. I said, how many people listen to KPCC? Everybody raised their hands.
Nice.
So it's a great partnership, and as you point out, it's LA, but Pasadena is really your home, and we appreciate that. Bill, we appreciate all the work you have done. Thanks to Google, I noticed, Herb, that you were a CEO of a leading digital brand for Latino millennials. And at this college where we're majority minority, and we have a lot of Latino millennials and Gen Z, I guess you'd say, I'm really interested in what your strategy is, because I know Bill had talked about this when he was last here. Outreach to that community in terms of listenership, in terms of engagement on a community level, and how it fits into your four pillars.
Well, I'll go right to the podcast initiative in part because the idea that I think has captured our imagination was that the world has always been fascinated by LA, whether it's on palm trees and sunglasses on postcards to glamour and glitz. But what's really fascinating is a minority-majority city, not tomorrow, but today. And those are the voices we want to capture. So our podcast initiative really is about leaning into this city and all of its diversity and representing and capturing those voices out. And to be honest with you, because I've been a media executive, I ran cable networks, I worked for the BBC, I had an internet startup. I think that's oftentimes an afterthought and not a primary thought for media companies. And at the end of the day, we are a media company. That is a primary thought for us. And then, so that's one element of it. I would point to a couple of other things. If you look at, we have mission statements, which we could always, we could provide to you. Every reporter has a mission statement, and they are soulful, and they're also meant to be transparent so that anybody in the community can reach out to the reporters with their stories. But the mission statement on the woman that does immigration was, I look at the impact that immigrants have on Los Angeles and that Los Angeles has on immigrants. So it's a two-way street. And even to the point of the justice reporter looks at the justice from the view of how justice is served and how zip codes influence it. So there is a orientation and an interest in looking at diverse communities, underserved and underrepresented communities in media, and that's one of our focuses.
Yeah, we'd love to be a resource for you for that. As you probably know, we have a large number of undocumented students on our campus who also have other needs in terms of we have a homeless population, we have a food deprived population. So anyway, we'd love to be a resource for you, a little laboratory, as you will, for your efforts, which are great. Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
If I may, I just real quickly, one of the aspects of the partnership that we have had with you all is the Veterans Program. I think we're one of the, 3 or 4 public media organizations in the country that has a dedicated veterans reporter. And, the reporting that we have done has confirmed multiple times that Pasadena City College is not a state leader, but a national leader in reintegrating, particularly veterans who've done forward duty back into the education and the workforce. And so kudos to you for that work, and hopefully we'll continue to be able to report on that.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for a very comprehensive report. And Bill, thank you for your years of service, and I hope you're enjoying your retirement. I don't really actually believe you're retired.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And Herb,
he does have the best fruit in the area, right? He's always sending us messages saying nectarines are in. Who wants them? So we get still in touch.
I do, just for the record.
Yeah, and Herb, welcome, and we look forward to a continued partnership. I would just like to reiterate very briefly what Trustee Martin said. The financial arrangements of our partnership are wonderful, but what really makes it meaningful to me also is getting our students integrated into KPCC through internships and even full-time positions. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You're welcome, and again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we are going to move on to agenda item C6, which is approval of minutes. And these are the minutes from our last meeting, regular business meeting, annual org meeting number 1, held last month, July 17th.
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor.
Aye.
Pardon me, student vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we're going to move to item C7. This is the Board of Trustees, committees, and representatives. And I have that list in front of me, and I'm going to read it into the record so we make it official. If you could bear with me while I do that, I'll zip through it as quickly as I can. Before I do that, I want to thank every one of my fellow trustees. I asked them to volunteer for committees, and they did so gladly, and also others that are chairing the committees. So thank you for your willingness to serve in what I think is going to be a very important term. And without further ado, I'm going to roll through this list and get our committees read into the record. The Community College League of California, Trustee Linda Wah. The LACSTA, Los Angeles County Committee on School District Organization, Trustee Chen Lau. LACSTA, Los Angeles County School Trustees Association, Trustee Sandra Chen Lau. PCC Foundation Representative, Trustee Hoyt Hilsman. PCC Measure P Representative, Trustee John Martin. Facilities Master Plan, 3 committee members, John Martin, Chair, Berlinda Brown, and Trustee Linda Waugh. Next, we have Accreditation and Board Policy Review. The chair of this committee will be Trustee Berlinda Brown, and also serving on that committee will be Trustees Tony Fellow and Hoyt Hilsman, as well as Alex, our student trustee. Next, we have Budget and Audit Committee. Trustee John Martin will chair that committee. Also on that committee will be Trustees Berlinda Brown and Trustee Sandra Chen Lau. KPCC Oversight, that will be chaired this term by our immediate past president, Trustee Tony Fellow. And also on that committee, Trustees Hoyt Hilsman and Sandra Chen Lau. And last and certainly not least, Legislative Advocacy Committee, that will be chaired this term by Trustee Hoyt Hilsman, and additional members of that committee will be Trustee Tony Fellow, Trustee Linda Waugh, and our student trustee Alex as well. So Sarkisian, pardon me, Alex. And that is our committees and representatives for this board term. Our next item on the agenda is item number C8, and that is board committees reporting out. Do we have any committee reports? Hearing none, we will move on. Pardon me, Trustee Chen Lau.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank Chair Jim Osterling for doling out the assignments. I know that many of us have made requests, and it's not easy to get your colleagues to do what they say they want to do or not want to do. But I just want to say thank you for being very thoughtful about these assignments and taking our requests into consideration.
You are welcome, but to give credit where credit is due, it was a very pleasant and enjoyable experience working through this with each one of the trustees, and I think hopefully everybody's happy with their assignments.
We're so happy we're wearing our Hawaiian.
Yes. Which brings me to a segue. I heard a rumor on campus that the PCC Board of Trustees meetings were boring and stuffy. I don't know how anybody could have ever gotten that impression. So I thought, it being summer and probably in the 90s as it proved to be, we could be a little more festive for our summer. And Dr. Androgenis also joined in by adding, well, maybe we should also have some ice cream at the meeting as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now, my fellow trustee, Hoyt Hilsman, immediately jumped right on and said, well, I think we should have a dunk tank for our chairman.
But somehow that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm
noticed
still working on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm still nervous. So anyway, thank you for that, Sandra, but really the way all the trustees stepped up made the committee assignments easy to hand out this term, and thank you again to all the trustees. We finished 7 and 8. We are now on to our consent calendar, and before we go into the consent calendar, is there any requests to pull any of the consent items out for discussion, or should we go through this on a consent basis? Okay. Here.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve consent
Second.
items D.
Okay, consent item D has been moved and seconded. These are our consent calendar items, D for students. Student trustee? Aye. Trustees?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We're going to move on to item E, which is consent items for instruction. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Student trustee?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We're going to move on to item F, consent items for business. And do I hear a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Student trustee
Aye.
and trustees, all in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. We're going to move on to consent item G, which is personnel. Do I hear a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded, personnel item, no trustee vote. Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And now we're going to move into the action items, section H. We are going to start with resolution number 617 to order biennial governing board election. Superintendent Androgianis, do you have any comments on this item?
I think you need to do it.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let me back up. Does this have a student trustee vote?
Aye.
Okay. And fellow trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item H2, resolution number 618, method of payment and word limitation for candidates' statements.
Move approval.
Second.
Student trustee.
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item H3, adopt resolution number 620, approve GAN appropriations limits for 2019 to 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion, the item has been moved and seconded. Student trustee?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Our last item is inter-fund transfer, Fund 41, Fund 62, Fund 64. I know we had some questions on this item amongst the trustees, and I think there was some additional information that was imparted. Are we going to get a report from Dr. Bush on this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Dr. Nerjonis. I apologize for the confusion of not having plain English explaining the transfer and getting lost in account numbers, but sometimes that's my world. And we'll do a better job to make sure that the text ties to the numbers. As we were closing the books, at the end of the year, we had more money with the revised P2 that we knew was going to come in. We also received a STRS rebate. And then we had some salary savings. So based on some of the concerns that the board had shared about the adopted budget, that we weren't moving money in the next year's budget to these funds, we took the extra revenue from last year and transferred it. So we transferred $5,285,000 to the capital facilities fund. The $22,867 is earmarked for the John Muir project. And then we transferred $1 million to the property and liability fund, and then $2 million to the post-employment benefit fund. And that'll help cover those dwindling balances that you saw during the tentative budget.
Thank you. Trustee Martin, any questions?
I appreciate the explanation. I'm trying to get caught up on the property and liability fund. Is there another name for that?
It's a self-insurance fund.
Thank you.
Trustee Hilsman.
I do have to ask about salary savings.
We have vacancies and they're not filled rapidly, and there'll be months where the position's vacant.
Like Dr. Bush, that position was vacant for 5 months.
Okay.
So
So I contributed to it.
Thank you.
He helped us.
But we want you there full-time now. We're happy to have you.
That often occurs.
I see, okay.
Some districts have reversion accounts where this money gets transferred over quarterly and you can track it. At this district, it's at the end of the year and then we transferred it over.
Thank you.
So I move approval.
Trustee Brown?
Second.
Okay. The item has been moved and seconded. Approval has been moved and seconded. Student trustee?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We are now going to move to Section I, information items. We've already covered item number 1, and so we're going to move on to our superintendent president's report.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for the festive day. This was wonderful to get to just come and be relaxed all day at work. I appreciate that. I still did work, just so you know. So our school starts on Monday. Very excited about next week. And Dr. Juni, how are our enrollments looking?
Enrollments are actually good. Obviously, we have some low enrolled classes, but we also have high demand in areas that were hard to predict. With the implementation of AB 705 this fall, we are not offering any lower than transfer level courses in English and math. And thus, the demand for English 1A especially is quite surprising. Last fall, we offered 100 sections of that course. This fall, we have over 186 sections of that course. And we have not met all of the demand of the students that are trying to enroll in it. So the enrollments look pretty good.
It's a moving target, trust me, in terms of deciding where the classes need to be added. But we have an amazing team of the vice president and the deans and everyone really pitching in to make sure that we get as many classes out there as possible. We also, this semester, or the lead up to fall, debuted our Welcome Center, which is directly downstairs. And that proved to be very transformative in terms of a central place where students came in and they were directed to start in any one of a number of places, and it pretty much had everything they needed to get started right there. And I went over and visited a few times, and it was just amazing. Do we know how many students went through there? Do we have a sense?
We typically have around 3,000 students who visit us during 6 weeks. Additionally, we also had our new Student Success Center over in the Pathways area. So
That's right.
We had a lot of support for students in regards to enrollment.
Absolutely. And one of the things the Aspen Institute folks did comment on both a couple of years ago and this year was that we needed to scale up Pathways. We needed to make sure that we touched as many of our incoming students as possible in terms of getting them into that first year experience. And I think this semester showed that we could do it. And
yeah, we have 103 sections of our first year experience student success seminar. And that's around 3,400 students. So we're really excited about our growth and most importantly, providing a guided entry to our college that's common for most of our new students.
Okay, so we're off to a good start. So this Friday is our professional development day. Now, I've been in 4 districts, and the Friday before the first day of class has many names. It can be in service, it can be all college, it can be welcome back, and in this district, it is professional development day, and that is Friday. And of course, the board, you're always welcome. It starts with, of course, we always start with food. Begin and end with food at 8 o'clock, and then we will have some speeches, including, I've been teasing everybody, saying my 45-minute address, which won't be 45 minutes. I'm hoping it'll be more like 4 to 5 minutes, because listening to me isn't the important thing. It's actually hearing welcome back from, I think our Senate President maybe is going to say a few words. And then we have a keynote speaker, and Cynthia, do you want to?
Yes, Dr. Sumi Pendakor, and she's from USC Center for Race and Equity.
And it's going to be a great day. And then we have all kinds of activities. So if you're around, we'd love to have you, board, and everybody out there as well. And then next week, for the first week, we'll have Welcome Week activities. And we have these things called What Huts. And yours truly will be at a What Hut answering questions. I've been promised that somebody will be in one of those What Huts with me because I don't know all the answers, but it's a great opportunity to be out in the quad and greeting our students and seeing what it is I do and do not know. Yes, Dr. Junie.
I just wanted to add, we asked for our people to RSVP to the Professional Development Day, and I was talking to Dr. Robinson, the Director of Professional Development, and last fall we had approximately 400 people RSVP. This fall we have over 600 people RSVP.
Awesome. So. It's going to be fabulous. Be there, be square. Okay, so an announcement. Pasadena City College's Anesthesia Tech class 2019 earned a perfect 100% pass rate on the certification exam. Yay. And 100% of the graduates have secured employment in the field. So that's awesome. That's exactly those CTE outcomes, too. That's right. See, I'm channeling Josh Weiner and the Aspen Institute. So coming up between now and the time we next meet on September 5th, I will be joining Congressman Adam Schiff for the unveiling of his Food for Thought bill at LA City College. It's a chance to meet with him as well as a press conference. And a lot of thanks go to our own chair over here, Trustee Osterling, for working so closely with Adam Schiff's staff on the bill. As it stands now, it will fund a pilot to make the federal nutrition service meals available to community college students. And so basically that's a free and reduced lunch. K-12 would get extended to community college students to help with food insecurity. And it is also being co-sponsored by Congresswoman Judy Chu. And so there's lots of PCC support out there for us. And I'm really excited to be part of the rollout of the measure because we did do a pilot of it, kind of an unofficial pilot when I was at LA Valley College with a local elementary school, and it worked out really well for our workforce participants. Plus, I get to meet one of my heroes, again, Adam Schiff, so. Ooh. So we're in discussions with the county to have a voting center here on campus during the March 2020 election. The county right now is changing voting systems. It used to be you had to go vote in your precinct on one day, and you had to vote provisionally, and now you can vote anywhere in the county over an 11-day period, and there are no provisional votes. So our voting center, at least what we're looking at right now, will be open 4 days leading up to and including Election Day, which is March 3rd, 2020. And we will welcome anybody on or off campus to come and vote, assuming you live in LA County. So those of you who don't, yours truly, I will not vote here, just so you know. Absentee all the way. We're also working with the city, county, and state to talk about Census 2020. It's time to make sure that everybody gets counted now that the citizenship question is not going to be there. And there'll be a number of initiatives that will come from this because we want to make sure we involve our students. This is a really great educational opportunity for our students too. You don't have to be a poli-sci major to be interested in what's happening with the census. And then when we get to the point of adjourning the meeting, I'd like to, and I think Tito's going to have one to add as well, I'd like to adjourn the meeting in memory of Cheryl Cornelius Ayala. She was a member of our community here at PCC for 20 years. She served as a clerk in the Visual Arts and Media Studies Division, and she passed away this last month after a long illness. And that's my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Indrogiannis. We're going to move on to the announcements by our shared governance representatives, and then follow that with our Board of Trustees. And to my right, everybody else is left. We are going to start out with our Associated Student President, Ms. Dion Shelton. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. So yes, Welcome Week is next week, and Associated Students has a week-long event planned for the campus, starting off with a soft or a warm welcome where we're going to greet the students in the quad and kind of like with planners, food, snacks, and to be able to show students where their classes are if they have any questions. On Tuesday, we're having a dunk tank, so for those...
Not coming.
Well, for those who want to come, because it's going to be hot, you can definitely, take a seat in the dunk tank. I'm going to be out there. Several of our board members are going to be out there. So we have some faculty lined up as well. There's going to be a DJ. Wednesday, we have... it's called Worst Wednesdays, where we're going to be serving Doghouse. We didn't go with any other names because every other name was weird. On Thursday, we are going to be partnering with Student Equity for our movie night, which is going to be geared towards all of our families. Here at PCC, we're going to be showing Detective Pikachu at 7 p.m., but during the day, we're going to have inflatables like an obstacle course, and we're going to give away agua frescas. And then we're going to have, I think, a taco bar as well on Thursday, so come check us out in the quad. On Friday, we're going to have Fry Day. We're going to be giving away French fries to all the students on campus, as well as the planners, and just trying to welcome all the incoming students. That's the main campus. And then we're going to be servicing Foothill and Rosemead as well during that. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ms. Shelton. Next, we have Classified Senate, and for Classified Senate, we have Mr. Jonathan Lim.
Hello. So I'm new to this board, so please forgive me if I misspeak. So we just had our retreat last week, and so there's a lot of new members, and I think we had a lot of good input on trying to establish what we need to do to communicate and what our goals are for the upcoming year. So it was a good retreat meeting, and we hope to have a positive and productive new year.
Thank you again, and welcome again. Next, we have Management Association outfitted in a Trojan Hawaiian shirt.
Fight on, baby.
Tito Altamirano, take it away, sir.
Yes, fight on all the way. Let's see, and I got my tickets for opening game too. So, but I'd like to begin most by welcoming our newest manager, Quinn Tang, who's our director of Student Health Services. We're very happy to have somebody in that position. It's a much needed area that our students very much need that support. Secondly, I'd like to give a sincere thank you to Chuck Pomeroy, who's our Assistant Director of Technical Services, who after 34 years of service to PCC is retiring. He'll be retiring next month. I ran into him yesterday. I'm all like, dude, he's all like, I'm done. I'm all like, all right, I get it. 34 years. But with that, thirdly, on July 19th, as I mentioned at our last board meeting, the MA had our annual retreat. And it was a very productive one in the sense that our keynote speaker, Justin Scott Campbell, helped us identify methods on how to call in and not call out our colleagues in a manner that is more inclusive and productive. So we're grateful for that. And then tomorrow, Dean Rebecca Cobb, along with Student Equity, headed by Doctora Iris Lucero, are hosting a PCC Playdate, which is a welcome event for parenting students and their kids. It's going to be actually right downstairs in the Welcome Center, so if you're around, please join us. Next week, as Dr. Indri Jonas mentioned, the MA is excited to be for the beginning of the school, again with our deans adding many classes, as already been mentioned, but also with managers taking part in the various What Huts on campus. And it's just a way to engage and also better assist students on that first week. Lastly, and on a more serious note, as Dr. just mentioned, we often end our board meetings in memory of someone, and this meeting is no exception. Melquiades Mares Jr. was a U.S. Navy veteran who came to PCC as the first in his family to pursue higher education. He graduated in 1961. He then ruined his life by transferring and graduating from the school across the town.
So
yes,
sad.
UCLA. I mean, I joke with him all the time. He then went on to a career as a school site and then district level administrator in LAUSD for over 40 years. For his 80th birthday, Melquiades requested no gifts. So his daughter, our own Dr. Micaela Maris Tamayo, and his son Mark had friends and family donate to Plaque to establish a scholarship that for the past 4 years has supported a number of students with thousands of dollars to help further pursue their education. So to him I say, Semper Fi, and thank you.
Thank you, Tito. And last but not least, for the Academic Senate, we have Dr. Matt Hennis. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did, thank you.
Okay, and Dr. Hennis, before you get started, I decided that we should have a prize or an award for the most colorful summer outfit. When I first came in, I looked at him and I said, that is the most colorful summer shirt. And then I realized he's wearing a solid gray tank top. Dr. Hennis, you still win the most bright, colorful summer outfit for our luau tonight.
I'll take it.
Take it away, sir.
Okay. I'd like to say that what huts that we're going to have will also be at Rosemead and Foothill, where, remembering our folks down the street and around the corner. Professional Development Day, I will actually be joining the presidents of the Management Association and the Classified Association as a group welcome. It won't just be me. So it's a campus-wide Professional Development Day. They used to be called Faculty Professional Development Days, but now we're branching out, I suppose. As you may know, my predecessor in this role, Lenora, had been the Faculty Accreditation Coordinator, and I would like to extend a thank you to Tuk Tuk Tong Taraj for applying for this position, for that position, and she has been approved for that. So I believe that our accreditation is in good hands. It will continue to be in good hands. And as we're looking forward to Welcome Week next week, we've been ramping up efforts to acclimate a lot of folks to the campus. We've had faculty and students participating in jams these last couple of weeks. And I'd like to also thank Sheila Rose for her tireless work with those, and with the new faculty orientation, bringing on board 46 new full-time faculty members.
Thank you. Trustees, and we will start on my left, everybody else is right, with our student trustee, Alex Sarkisian. Take it away, sir.
So this weekend, I attended the CCLC Student Trustee Conference training that was in San Diego. And from that, it was just a lot of good training. I met with a lot of different trustees, networked with them. It was kind of comforting that they were confused about some things as I was. But yeah, it was really good opportunity, and our AS board this year plans on also attending the Seesaw Conference in October, so another CCLC event. And also there, I got the certificate.
Yay!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Thank you for your applause.
Okay, so he attended. We can reimburse his expenses.
That's all we needed.
Yes, but it was overall just a really great conference, and I just was trained a lot of different things, including accreditation and budgeting. So that's great. And last week, also, some of our AS board introduced themselves to all the new faculty members at the event hosted, and we also plan on attending Professional Development Day this Friday. Wonderful. And finally, we appointed 3 new executive board members, as I mentioned. Coming into the term, we had only 6 board members, but we are slowly but surely gaining more, and a couple of them are here today. So Jessica Wu, she's our she's our VP for Public Relations and my PR child. Ariane Nazarian is our VP for Business Affairs. And finally, Frida Ramirez, who is in here today, will be serving as our VP for External Affairs and heading our Student Lobby Committee. So we all attended a training retreat in early August, where we planned events like Welcome Week, all the amazing puns that came with Welcome Week. That will also be extending to our Rosemead and Foothill campuses. And finally, a celebratory note, today's my dad's birthday, and to say hi to him on the live stream, wherever he is. But yeah. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Trustee Sandra Chan-Lao.
Thank you. My report is a little bit long, so please bear it with me. I, first of all, would like to acknowledge the students who came and testified and spoke on behalf of their classes. And it's really important for the board to hear these voices, especially for me as a new board member. So I really would like to encourage, students and faculty to come and community members to speak to the board about their concerns. I was also at a training. I didn't bring back a certificate with me, but I did go. And it was actually a leadership institute for new trustees. I was in Washington, D.C. with 104 newly appointed and elected trustees. And what really set me thinking about what we're facing are some of the issues that were brought up. And just a few, and I know I may be preaching to the choir, so please bear with me, is that we have many of the 6.8 million Americans looking for work do not possess the skills to fill the 6 million jobs. Over the next decade, we will need 3.4 million workers as baby boomers retire. 20% are likely to remain unfilled due to the shortage of workers. Excuse me. The equity gap in higher education persists and it's not narrowing. On average, white and Asian students, and this is not counting Pacific Islander students, earn a college degree credential at a rate about 20% higher than do Hispanic and African American students. 35 million Americans have some college but no credentials. College enrollment will rise by 14% through 2022, only a third the pace that of the past decade, and the number of high school graduates are to decline by 2022. I point out these challenges because I know that as a board, we're gonna see some of that, and that's why we hired President Androgenis to solve all these challenges for us.
No pressure.
No pressure, but it reminded me of what I needed to do here as a board member and to work with my colleagues to really see how we can move Pasadena forward. And speaking of my colleagues, I certainly like to thank them for their tolerance and understanding and working with the new trustee this last year. And I look forward to the next year of working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Tony Fellow.
I have not much. I wish I could join you at the What's Hut.
Yeah, the What Hut.
Tomorrow and Friday, university professors have to be on campus. So.
It's all right.
Okay, thank you. And on my right, starting with Trustee Wah.
Oh, okay. Well, first, I think we should congratulate Dr. Fellow. He and his wife will be receiving an award tomorrow, right?
That's
for
right.
Boy Scouts of America. Yay. So first, I really want to thank Dr. Androgenis, who I know has been hard at work meeting the superintendents of our community.
I finished today.
I know, I heard that. You
My
ran into our
last
board
one.
president from San Marino
Yes,
at the
that's
Athenaeum.
right.
Yeah.
Last one.
While I was meeting with her superintendent.
Yeah.
So I've had a chance to follow up also. It's my custom to always meet with my superintendents from my K-12s at the beginning of the year and throughout. But just great feedback, and they just talked about how pleased they are with the direction of PCC and the leadership of PCC, and looking forward to greater partnerships. And I was pleased to hear that South Pasadena, we completed our articulation agreement with them, and they are looking forward to moving on the on dual enrollment. So once we get all of that settled, I think it'll be great opportunities. And Dr. Yance reminded me that Arcadia may be the #1 feeder to PCC in terms of numbers, but by percentage of graduating class, South Pasadena is the
That's right.
feeder. So so that was really great to hear, and Jeff is very proud of what PCC has done for our students. I was really pleased to attend an event with the HMRI group. So as I've shared with our trustees, we've had 7 PCC students who have been interns at HMRI. Dr. Androgenis and I had a chance to see some of the presentations of those graduating students, and it's pretty phenomenal. So if you have not had a chance to visit HMRI, I hope you will and see some of the work. What they've done is, even though it's a medical research facility, they've used our students to do data analytics, and those students have actually written programs to do all of this large data analysis for predictive analysis results, which I think it's really pretty phenomenal to see these guys. So that was really a treat. And then on LACSTA, we had our first executive board meeting. We missed our past president, Osterling, who was there, but we developed some programs, and I wanted to let the board know, especially now that Trustee Chen Lau will also be our representative there, but Trustee Osterling and I will remain as part of the executive committee as past presidents. So one of the things that President Dickerson talked about was how she really thinks that the programs that we put on should be, we should include all of the trustees and all of the superintendents and any of their administrators, that they would, if they so want to attend any of our events. So the first one that we worked with Dr. Duardo on is going to be the CT in the workforce. So Dr. Duardo will be bringing in staff from the county superintendent's office to talk about how they've laid the foundation for the K-12s. But we will also be inviting Trustee Vakar from Riverside to talk about how she is road mapping the CTE from K-12 directly into the community colleges. So I really invite anyone, and I hope that our superintendents will attend. That will be on September 23rd. The second one Dr. Duardo asked us to look at was, many of you know, some of you may know that that the responsibility for districts in distress is now being moved from the state level down to the county level. So, so Dr. Duardo thought it would be really a good thing for us to have a presentation on the fiduciary responsibility of the board members, to remind them of the hard decisions we have to make. And even though we answer to community, you know, our first responsibility is to ensure that there is fiscal health within our districts. And so, so I'm proud to be part of a district where we have such fiscally minded and conservative leadership, and I think that has served us well. So our second meeting, and I think it will be sometime in November, will be on the fiduciary responsibility, and we'll be bringing FICMAC in. So I encourage everyone to attend. I also had a chance to attend the Consultation Council with Dr. Olivo, so we both sit on that. And one of the initiatives that the Chancellor's Office has been working on with the academic senates has been on the diversity and equity plan. So that is a huge focal point for the Chancellor's Office, and you're going to see that theme resonated in the CCLC workshops that we have coming up in November. I've asked several workshops to be put up on that, and the Chancellor's Office will be participating with us. And I think this is something that resonates also with all of our individual colleges, and I know Dr. Olivo has been really heavily involved in that. And then I also want to thank both Dr. Olivo and Dr. Androgenis for joining the Financial Aid Task Force. So we're wrapping up 1.0. I know I've been promising this framework document, which will be coming soon, I hope by the end of September. Then we'll move on to 2.0. But I think we have some good initiatives planned to move financial aid and affordability for our students. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Wah. Trustee Martin.
Just that between the casual attire and ice cream that our board chair has led us on, I'm kind of thinking like maybe a board czar. You could have this position for life if you can make this standard attire and a few more perks. I mean,
I'm in favor.
I'm just thinking, you know, you're reaching out to the constituent base here and touching me and touching me. So yeah. Anyway, that's all. I'm just thinking, what do you have for us for next meeting? Anyway,
we'll come up with
Halloween.
something.
We're looking forward to the Halloween meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Scary. Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Martin. Trustee Brown.
No report.
Trustee Hilsman.
Just to say thank you to Tito and the plaque, the President's Latino Advisory Committee that I'm had been invited to attend, and it's very informative for me to get a sense of what's going on with that particular community, and also the outreach that represents to the broader community. And the other thing is that you may not be aware, but there's a neighbors committee that meets regularly here. It's primarily in my district, the surrounding area of the college, and they're a very active, small but active group, and I think that we've established a good relationship with our immediate neighbors, and we're in good communication with them. Thank you to our police force for the work that they do in making the neighbors feel safe and comfortable. So that's my report.
Thank you, Trustee Hilsman. And we'll conclude with my report. Our superintendent failed to mention that she was recently appointed to the Pasadena Bio-Collaborative Incubator.
That was cool.
And Erica, I wanted to thank you, but also congratulate you, but I also wanted to thank you because I think outreach to our business community is very important. So serving in that role will help with that outreach.
Absolutely.
So thank
I'm
you very
excited
much.
too.
Yeah. And then the only other thing, again, is just to thank all of my fellow trustees for stepping up and taking on the committee assignments in this next term. So thank you again. That concludes my remarks. And next we go to proposed future board business meeting dates.
I think they're in the agenda, and
Yeah.
unless there's some indication that a date needs to change, this is just confirmation.
There.
How we share to make sure everybody knows when the upcoming meetings are. So we're good.
Trustee Martin.
Because it's the closest thing on agenda for future agenda items, I don't quite see that.
Yeah, you can put that right in the
Maybe I'll
spot.
slip
Yeah.
it right here before we get to that last item of adjournment.
Right, go ahead.
So I was hoping it came up in some of the questions and answers that the superintendent provided us. It would be, I think, helpful for all of us to hear the history of sustainability. This college has made a commitment to sustainability for decades and has done a lot of tremendous work, especially from where we were 20 and 30 years ago. And as we're asking questions about other things that we can do in the future, I think it would be a good starting point to just have a brief history of some of the steps we've taken and get us all caught up on that.
Okay, so noted.
And I would add to that, we could also potentially include additional efforts that we could make in the future.
Okay.
Work still to be done. Any other comment on business meeting dates or future board agenda items? Okay. Hearing none, we've concluded our business. Now, I'm going to adjourn this meeting, but in order to do that, I need Tito's help. We're going to adjourn this meeting in memory of two of our PCC community members. And Tito, the first one, please.
Melquiades Mares Jr.
Thank you. And also Cheryl Cornelius Ayala. We'll adjourn the meeting in memory of both of them. Meeting adjourned.